But while that's happening, hey, there's 27 people in here. Thank you guys for showing up, and welcome to Day of Debates. It should be Day of Debates 8, debates that invigorate. The I think like 13th, the 13th event that I've hosted. This debate's going to be really great. We're going to have like a lot of really good debates, as you guys have heard. We're going to have like our first debate, TruthOverTea versus Joyful Apostate. Is a life permitting universe more probable with the God? We're gonna have Monkey Boy versus Matt Slick. Does the God of the Bible exist? We're bringing a newcomer off of YouTube who's very prominent, Joel Setcase versus Godless Engineer on Does the Christian God of the Bible exist? And then we're gonna have a very intellectual debate at the end to conclude all this. It's gonna be C versus Jordan on Does indeterminism have a more robust possibility of being true when compared to determinism. I really appreciate you guys for being here. Really appreciate the attendance. Thank you guys for being here. And if you could, throughout the debate, tap your screens to get more people in here. Now, in regards to gifts, right? Before you gift me or AR, who's using the Day of Debates channel, please gift the judges and the contestants first, right? Gift them. Gifts do help everyone here to continue working on their projects or doing stuff on TikTok. It really does help. We reinvest the gifts back into TikTok, or some people donate them to like charities and stuff. But if you can't gift, which is totally fine, because right now, you know, the world's kind of fucked, and like, you know, even I'm struggling financially. We just appreciate you guys being here, right? We just appreciate your presence, and we can't really do this without you guys like watching or tapping your screens or sharing. So if you can't gift, totally fine. Just tap your screens, share the live, and that really helps the project that we're doing here. So with that, I genuinely appreciate you guys, and we're probably going to get on to like the first debate. In regards to like the format, it's going to be a 46-minute debate with 7-minute openers, 3-minute rebuttal periods, 2 rounds of 5-minute cross-examination, and 3-minute closers. With that, does anyone have any final things to say? And then we can start the debate.
Let's go, boys. Day of Debates number 8. Let's keep it linear.
Booyah. And so with that, the affirmative is going to do their 7-minute opener. Let's see. Is the life permitting universe more probable with a God? I think that's going to be TruthOverTea. You're going to be the affirmative. And yeah, okay. We'll give you 7 minutes on the clock. I'll time you, and we'll go from there. Let me set the timer.
Can I do it on his screen too? I should do it on his screen as well, right?
Oh yeah, actually on screen would be the best thing. Yeah, put a
we do both. We do both just in case, you know, we need to stop.
I'll set a timer for myself either way. I doubt my opener is going to take the whole 7 minutes. I try to like cut off time as much as possible for questions, cross-exam. So
okay, so we're going to do 7 minutes, right?
Yeah, 7 minutes for his opening statement.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Yep, and put a timer on him if you can.
Yeah, as soon as he says his first word, we'll start the timer.
Okay.
We'll start when you say your first word.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Cool. Well, I'll go ahead and get started here. First, I want to thank you guys for giving us the opportunity. I know, Coco, I've tried to get on your platform here for a couple debates here that haven't worked out so well. So I appreciate Joyful here for giving me the opportunity and sticking to it. So appreciate that. And so I'm looking forward to having a thoughtful and rigorous exchange of ideas on such an important topic. All right, so the discussion, as we've already laid out, is life more probable with God? And so I'm taking the affirmative. Tonight, I'll be defending the proposition, and forgive me, I'll be reading my screen here for my opening statement. I'll be defending the proposition that life is more probable with God than without. So my approach here is going to initially be grounded in a Bayesian framework, evaluating the likelihood of life existing under 2 competing hypotheses. And so theism, specifically the existence of a maximally great being, traditionally understood as omniscient, omnipotent and omnibenevolent. And the other one will be atheism, which in this case is just positing a godless universe, not naturalism, not any specific type of atheistic worldview, as opposed to just plain Jane atheism. So, to be clear, I am a Christian, but for the debate tonight, I am not specifically defending Christianity, but a model of theism that best fits Christianity, in my opinion. Also, to define life in this instance, the definition would specifically be to biological life. So, to ensure neutrality, we will begin by assigning equal prior probabilities to both hypotheses. So in this case, 50% or 0.5 to each, both the theistic and the atheistic prior probability. So this is going to reflect an agnostic starting point. From there, we will assess the explanatory power each hypothesis provides in accounting for the existence of biological life. To raise the probability of either hypothesis, we must see the explanatory scope of each hypothesis and then try to raise either prior with a reasonable explanation. An explanation can raise any given hypothesis by 0.1 in this exercise or any other agreed value that would result in the increase of the prior. And so I don't want to harp too much on the 1 here. It can be another number, but the point of the exercise is to raise the probability in some form or fashion. 0.1, 0.01, 0.001, etc. So, under atheism, one must ultimately appeal, or most likely will ultimately appeal, to brute facts, entities or states of affairs that have no further explanation, or to chance, which at best can offer a partial account of life's emergence, but not a full explanation. Neither route significantly raises the plausibility as an explanation for an atheistic hypothesis. In contrast, a theistic hypothesis allows us to increase the prior probability in a non-arbitrary way. A maximally great being, by nature, would be inclined to bring about good. Since living beings, especially rational agents capable of choosing good freely, are valuable and capable of moral action, a good being, it follows that a good God, would have reason to create such beings. Furthermore, God cannot himself choose between good and evil. By nature, as being good, he is essentially good, and he cannot do evil. But he can create beings that can make the choice between good and evil and choose good over evil, thereby increasing the moral richness of his creation. In summary, while atheism offers little to no explanatory progress for increasing the prior in such exercise from the initial 50-50 stance, theism provides a more coherent and compelling reason to expect life. Therefore, we have good reason to conclude that life is more probable with God than without. And that concludes my opening statement.
Okay, thank you for that opening statement. We will now move on to Joyful Apostate's opening statement. We can start the timer once you say your first word. You ready, AR?
Yep.
Great.
All right, first I want to say thank you to Coco as well and Truth. Thank you so much for this. This is my first ever formal style debate. And I always like watching them, but I'm not sure how much I like doing them. There was a lot of legwork taken there. But so let's dive into it. While I was preparing for this debate, I asked Truth because I wanted his definition of the God that we were putting into this. I wanted to know if it was the Christian God or what God it was. And what he replied was the classic and neoclassical theistic belief of God. So I clarified, is that a God that is both infinite and transcendent? Which he affirmed. Okay, with that in mind, I'm going to press forward. Probabilities require a quantification of something. According to Stanford and Oxford University, a transcendental or infinite being cannot be quantified, nor can their attributes. According to Harvard, trying to quantify something that is unquantifiable will always lead you to inaccurate results. So when we look at the topic at hand, is a life produce or permitting universe more probable with God? Well, of course not, because you cannot make a probability out of God or God's attributes based with the definition I was given of this God. This could easily just be my conclusion, but that's not. I want to go more in depth with explaining this. When dealing with probabilities, your object and your subjects must both be something that is quantifiable. And with the universe, we have something that we can see, that we can observe, and every day we are equating values to its attributes. And one of its attributes is the attribute of permitting life. We see this through natural causes daily, through the production of life, the sustaining of life, and the fact that we are all here today. There is no epistemological evidence of a God producing any life. All that we have is philosophy and other speculation that cannot be solidified into a value to create any such probability. Therefore, adding to the universe having life, this God proposition nullifies the probability altogether. But what we do have is this universe we can perceive and give value to. And we know 100% of the universes that we know exist epistemologically do produce, sustain, and permit life. So there's 100% probability that this universe, apart from God, because he cannot be used in a probability based on the definitions given, a universe, 100% probability to produce life. And that is the end of my introduction.
Thank you for your candor, both of you. Now we will get into the rebuttals. You guys will have 3 minutes to do a rebuttal to each other's opening statements, starting off with TruthOverTea. We'll start your 3 minutes whenever you say your first word. AR, you got it?
Yep.
Okay. So again, rebuttal probably won't be 3 minutes. I'm looking forward to getting to the cross exam. So Joyful started his opening statement with stating, and this was something that we had talked about before, that God, in this instance, a maximally great being, is unquantifiable, and we cannot quantify an unquantifiable thing of any sort. So this seems to confuse two different forms of probability. So frequentism is a form of probability at which you measure the amount of something, a quantification. An example would be flipping a coin 10 times. 7 of the 10 times it lands heads, the other 3 times it lands tails. Using frequentism probability, you would guess that the 11th flip would be most likely heads, where in this instance we're using Bayesian probability, which is about using things, information or evidence, explanations to increase the prior probability, thus increasing the posterior probability at the end of the Bayesian equation. So in the instance of a universe, right, we have one universe, or the origin of life, we have one instance of this happening. When we don't have the luxury of using frequentism, we use what's called Bayes' theorem. And so my entire opening statement defended the probability of of God being the explanation of life, or being the best explanation of life, through Bayesian probability. So in order for my Bayesian equation to actually be defeated, Joyful has the responsibility of increasing the priors or defeating the explanations that I've offered to increase the priors of theism. Simply from his opening statement, we've already gathered that he's confused between the two forms of probability and hasn't actually addressed the Bayesian equation. not to sound like a rhyme joke there. But that will complete the rebuttal that I have.
Okay, and with that, we'll move on to Joyful Apostate's 3-minute rebuttal. We can start the timer whenever you say your first word. And you're muted. Oh, sorry about that.
Oh, sorry about that. My initial thought on his opening statement is going to be there are a lot of presuppositions that have to be made that cannot be substantiated through any type of epistemological reasoning. So he just inserts God wherever he sees fit to deem he has answers that cannot be answered by science. So everywhere that there's a gap in science, what he wants you to believe is we must put God there because he can. There's a thing called the Texas sharpshooter fallacy, and that is where they shoot holes in a barn, and then they draw the targets around those holes so that every one of those pew-pews hit right in the center of them. And that's exactly what he is doing here. He is using a fallacy to try to promote his idealism rather than providing any actual factual evidence that would substantiate his claims. And that's the end.
Okay, and that'll be end of the 3-minute rebuttals. So now we're going to move into 2 minutes of cross-examination. So the affirmative will go first. This is their time to be in control and to ask questions to delegitimize the opponent or affirm their position. At any time, if the opponent is speaking too much, you can say, "I reclaim my time," and we'll pause the timer and stop the opponent from speaking, then resume once everything is under control. Is that understood from both of you guys?
All right. So how many minutes? 5, right? 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes. And TruthOverTea, this will be your cross-examination that you're in control of, starting when you say your first word.
Okay. You said 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Alrighty. Okay, so let me first start. Joyful, do you find the explanations that I provided problematic to increase the prior probability of theism? If so, why?
I find them problematic because there is no actual evidence behind them. They are just claims made without any substance.
Okay. Was there any sort of logical error, or what was the specific reasoning that, because you had said that there's no evidence behind it, but I would say that it logically follows if a good being is good, you'd want to create more good, right? So is there any logical error you see or any error in my reasoning?
Yeah, you're presupposing a maximally great being in your statement. Therefore, you would have to be able to provide evidence of a great being for me to even propose that your statement has any legitimacy.
Okay, is this debate about whether God exists or if life is more probable under God or not?
Okay, so God would have to exist for it to be more probable under God, wouldn't he?
So I think this is my cross-exam, so I should be asking questions here, but the purpose of the debate is for me to defend why it makes more sense that God is the better explanation for life than not.
Yeah, but
so
you would
this
have
debate
to...
is not about defending God's existence, per se. That's a different topic.
Well, God would have to exist for there to be a probability made for him. That's why...
Okay. So here, that's okay. We're getting off into another direction. I don't want to waste time here. So what explanations do you have to increase the prior for any atheistic hypothesis?
Oh, yeah. So we have... the Miller-Urey experiment. We have where they have taken... So we have amino acids coming from natural processes, and then we have amino acids turning in where they have taken and made amino acids. They agitate them within an atmosphere, and they create molecular structures that self-replicate and mutate. And we've also found that adding other natural... adding them to a natural environment will create a self-replicating molecule that is mutating, as well as having a crap, I'm missing the word, as well as having a yeah, I can't think of the word off the top of my head. It's like when you, god damn it, I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of the word.
No, that's fine.
Shit. Having, not, I want to say appetite, but it's not. It's when you like digest food and stuff, a metabolism. With the metabolism.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
let me jump back in because I don't have much time here.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
How does that increase the prior on an atheistic, like why would we expect life given atheism?
Oh, we would expect life because the universe is eternal, and in an eternal vast and a probability of life being created, if there's an eternity for all of these happenstances to take place, of course eventually it will take place if it's a possibility.
Okay, so are we ultimately boiling this down to chance then?
No, we're boiling it down to the laws and physics of the universe in which we can observe.
Okay, does life have to exist under atheism?
No, life does not have to exist, no.
Okay. So just one last time, let me ask you this. The explanations that you gave, why would those not increase the probability also for theism as opposed to atheism?
Because we know that it can happen without a god, so it is the most simplistic form of going to it. Adding a god to the equation actually just complicates it, and we know that the more simple we get, and we can create a explanation of something as simplistic as possible, we don't need to keep adding things that we cannot substantiate. So yeah, it brings better probability.
Last question before my time runs out here. Yep. So again, though, is everything that we just said still compatible with theism?
No.
No. Okay.
And with that, we will be moving on to Joyful Apostate's 5 minutes for you to control the narrative and ask questions. So we'll start that whenever you say your first word. Okay, are you ready?
That's the best me, bro.
Okay. If you ever need me to like set the timer myself, let me know.
I got it.
Okay, so my first question is, do you understand that a Bayesian probability still requires quantification of an idea?
Of an idea, yeah.
Yeah, is the idea of a god quantifiable?
It can be, yeah.
Do you have any basis to back up that claim?
So by quantifiable just means that you can count it, you can quantify it. Infinite, right? So like maximally great just means the most possible of something, and we can conceive of what that means reasonably. So there's no reason to say we can't quantify it.
You can quantify infinite?
We can quantify maximally great. So like infinite, when you say infinite, can you elaborate a little bit more?
Yeah,
like when you're asking me to quantify it.
Yeah, so when you're quantifying something, it has to be something that is measurable. Is infinity measurable?
Mathematically, yes.
Incorrect. I can't say that right now, sorry. So you think that mathematically... So do you understand that, like, Stanford, Oxford, Harvard all disagree with you?
I mean, there's things like set theory and other forms of math where we definitely use infinite in our equations, infinity in equations.
Infinity in equation. Okay, so you will say that it is quantifiable, and do you think that a transcendental being can be quantified?
Yeah, it would be the same category.
Okay, so something we can't understand can be quantified.
So we can understand it. We may not fully understand God, but we can understand aspects of God.
Can give me the set value of God.
So what do you mean? Can you elaborate by set value?
Okay, can you give me a value of God?
like his properties?
Yeah. Give me a value of his properties.
Omniscient,
Any of them.
omnipotent, omnibenevolent.
That's not a value. Give me a value of it. Something that quantifies it.
So the maximal amount possible.
Maximal amount possible. Okay,
Yes.
but you don't know what that is, so you could never... Could you put that into a probability? Or into an equation, the maximum amount possible, and come up with an accurate answer to that equation?
I'm afraid I'm not sure what you're asking me.
Okay, so you're saying that this obscure maximum great number can be quantified. It's just that we don't know what that number is or any type of thing. So what I am asking of you is, since you apparently do know, because you said it can be quantified, quantify it for us.
I mean, by me stating that it is a maximally great being, so in great making properties, right, he is maximal in those properties. So we can argue about what those properties are, and that's a different ball game.
That's not what I'm
maximal just
doing.
means the most amount of possible. So
Okay, yeah, so there's not a number for that. Is there a number for the max amount possible?
So, is it possible to go through all of the the measurements of what such property? So goodness, right? Everything that could make something good. Yes, you could do that. I have not
All right, so
counted every single one, but
amazing.
yes, you could do that.
That is amazing. Okay, so you think that you had stated that I was confused. I was not confused. Both need quantifications, and like, you can call it appealing to authority or whatever, but like most mathematics disagree that an eternal being can be quantified. So what I want to know is what makes you believe that it can be, if like the main sets of people that are setting the standard in science say that it can't? Like, what is giving you the idea that it can be?
This is more of a philosophy of religion debate, so science is not going to be like that big of an impact. This is
it is.
Scientists aren't the authority to go to on this. If anything, mathematicians. But so, like, in my explanation, I specifically used a Bayesian explanation, or basically a Bayesian equation, lack of a better term, to evaluate two different hypotheses and see how I can increase the prior. And so I was able to successfully increase, in my opinion, the theistic hypothesis, and I have yet to hear you refute either of those explanations.
No, I have, because you have no reasoning behind quantifying any of the things you said. And that's why I keep asking you the same question over and over, because you don't have an answer.
There might be time, and then we can go into TruthOverTea's cross-examination. This is your time to control the narrative. You get 5 minutes, which starts whenever you say your first word.
All right, cool. All right, so I wanted to follow up on... Oh, I'm getting an echo here. Oh, that went away. Okay. So for the last portion of my questioning on the cross-exam, you had presented a bunch of information, Miller-Urey experiment, different science experiments that folks have used to try to justify a form of origin of life in a scientific explanation. I wanted to ask again, because I didn't really get a satisfactory answer, why is that not compatible with theism?
That's not going to be compatible with theism for the fact that theism is God created, not nature. If nature can create it without God, then the probability of God is not needed within the equation.
So just because God is not needed, so to say, does that mean it's not compatible with God?
It's not what I'm saying is it's not compatible with what we're talking about.
So why can't God do that? Why can't God bring life about through the means that would be detected through such scientific experiments?
Oh, yeah, I can answer that. So God could, so could the unicorn, and so could a roach, and so could so many other things do the same thing. Just putting a name there to do a natural process doesn't make the probability greater for God. That's why.
Okay, so it is not going to give an advantage to atheism then
Yes, it is.
over theism.
Yes,
So
it is.
how
Because
does it give the advantage to atheism over theism?
Because we can show that natural processes bring forth life, no God needed. So the necessity of God goes away when we can show that the natural world has the things to provide and permit and sustain life.
Okay, so what is the probability that, so, well, you had already said earlier, like, do you, as far as the components of a cell, have we actually created life, and a life meaning a cell, today through science, through the scientific
We
method?
have created protocells, yes. They
What
are
evidence is there of
self-replicating
that?
cells. Yeah, there's. I'll pull it up for you if you wanna. I'll bring it up. Ask another question while I'm doing it, so
Okay.
you aren't wasting your time.
Okay, gotcha. So, was it intelligent beings that created the means for such cells to come into existence?
No. They just
So-
use natural processes to make them.
Okay, these natural processes were put in place by what?
By people. They made...
Are people intelligent beings?
Well, yeah, but the actual thing used was the atmosphere that they encapsulated, not the people doing it. They didn't
Okay.
make it like they would make a computer. No.
Okay, so let me revisit my prior question earlier, because again, I did not hear a satisfactory answer. Let me ask, if God is good, would God want to create more good by being a good being?
You would assume.
Okay, so there's no logical error, there's no contradiction there, right?
No, there's no logical contradiction that an all good being would want to create good. Yep.
Okay, so if we're stuck, as far as like why we would expect life, given atheism, is the probability of that any different than why we wouldn't expect life, given atheism? Is there any difference there?
Yes.
What's the difference?
The probability, or no, the probability will be nil. It will be exact same.
Right. So
Yep.
that would still. So would that then not concede to a theistic hypothesis where the probability is higher to have life as opposed to not have life?
Is there a probability higher than 100%? Would be what I'm saying back to you. So there's 100% chance that the universe, through natural processes, do produce, promote, and sustain life. So 100% probability. So
Well,
to
no,
add God did
no.
that.
See, we're confusing issues here. This is stepping
Nope.
into the anthropic principle. I'm specifically stating like our expectation of such a thing to happen,
I'm talking about
given atheism or theism in this case.
what I'm saying
But
is.
I've run out of time here, so go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead and answer. I'll answer the question. Go ahead. That's fine.
Well,
That's fine. Go ahead.
do you guys want to ask that question and get an answer, or do you guys want to move
Yeah,
on?
just answer.
That's okay.
Just say, ask the question. Truth. I didn't mean to run over you.
No, that's okay. I was just saying. I was more giving a statement than a question, so I'll save that for my closing. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Joyful.
And
So,
yep, we'll start Joyful Apostates 5
hey,
minutes.
and sorry, I was not trying to overstep you, man.
You're fine, man.
Okay.
This is actually my first formal debate too, so that's cool.
Right on.
That's cool, man.
And then we'll start Joyful Apostates 5 minutes whenever you say your first words, and then we'll proceed to 3-minute closers.
Wait, this is a 5-minute cross, right?
Yeah, 5-minute cross.
Okay. What is the probability that the universe produces life?
I mean, I've heard tons of different answers to this. It depends on what source you ask. I wouldn't take one side or the other because I haven't done the math myself. It's some
Do you live?
outrageously low number given certain circumstances to have lipids, carbohydrates, proteins, and amino acids synthesized together into a cell. It's very unlikely. Go ahead.
Okay, so do you live in a world where the universe has produced life?
I live in a world where there is life. Where the universe produced life is the very question of the debate.
Okay, so the universe does not produce any life. Like, life does not come from natural processes?
So regeneration does, but the question is like the first.
No,
life.
I get that. Right. But
I don't know,
you were saying earlier that abiogenesis was consistent with God. So I was just curious if you believe.
That's not what I said. I was saying that, for example, if we were to discover a mechanism at which a cell can come into existence prebiotically, there's no reason to say that theism is not compatible with that, because God could have just done so in that same manner.
Oh, okay. So what you were saying is God could have been the reason. So, okay. Okay, so what makes... I guess I want a clarification. So if natural means of life being produced does not help the atheistic worldview of naturalism, how does anything help the... So basically what you're saying is anything the universe could do, God could do. But everything God could do, the universe can't do, therefore God? Am I understanding your stance correctly?
Not exactly. So it's about trying to increase the prior on each hypothesis. So just given the atheistic hypothesis, why would we expect life? And you had already said we wouldn't expect it one way or the other. It's really just chance. Where it's not the same thing with theism. God actually has a motivation to create life, so it's more expected that we would have life given a theistic hypothesis than an atheistic hypothesis.
Oh, okay. So you don't think that a universe with the ability to produce life over an infinite amount of time would 100% of the time produce life?
I just don't think it necessitates atheism.
But a universe that is able to create life, let's just say the universe is able to create life. If the universe is able to create life, okay, over an infinite amount of time, would the probability be very great that it's going to produce life?
Could you repeat that?
Okay, so an infinite universe that it has the ability to create life over an infinite amount of time, is it going to produce life? If there's any possibility?
It's possible, yeah.
Yeah, so
no contradiction. But that's not...
No.
Well, go ahead.
Well, no, I'm getting you to point out flaws in your own stance. Because... no, this is questions. So, do you believe that God created life, is your stance. So, do you believe God also creates evil, since he's maximally good?
No.
Okay, so God does not create evil, he only creates good. This world, or life, has things like cancer in it. This life has things like childhood cancer, where babies are born with cancer. So do you think that is a good thing?
No.
Okay, so we're not talking about the Christian God now. So just so you understand. So there's no sin brought into the world. There's none of that. So your God created life where childhood cancer is part of that life. And you just said that he does not create things that are not good. So how can he create something not good, based on your own words, but also only create good?
So this isn't really relevant here. This is going off into the problem of evil as opposed to our topic. But so evil, by definition, is just a lack of good. Evil has no ontology. And so that beings that would create evil or cause evil would be beings that are capable of causing evil, whereas God, in my definition, my hypothesis, is not capable of creating it. So I didn't say God creates all possible things, which, well, even though good is a thing, evil is a lack of that thing, just like cold is a lack of heat. So it's kind of a confusion here, a false equivalency. But
okay. And we'll stop it right there, and then we'll get to 3-minute conclusions, starting with TruthOverTea. So you get 3 minutes to do your conclusion, and then we'll start whenever you say your first word.
Okay, 1 second. Again, I don't think I'll exceed the time, but I'll set a timer just in case. All right. So tonight the debate was, is life more probable with God? I believe that I have defended the statement in the affirmative properly. I think I've done so successfully, and my Bayesian-style argument has not been refuted at this point. So as I initially stated, the hypothesis of theism is going to have a higher prior after explanations are provided through looking through the explanatory scope of the possibilities provided with theism and atheism. Again, if God is good, God would be motivated to create things that do more good and things that are good in and of themselves, like having free will and the ability to do good. And so this can be quantified through the Bayesian equation that I provided. Again, we have no way to increase the prior that's been given tonight, at least, for an atheistic hypothesis. We're stuck with a brute fact, which means there is no further explanation. And so, per the debate, since my equation has not been refuted, I would say that my argument still stands. Theism is a more probable hypothesis given life than atheism. And with that being said, I'll end my closing statement.
Okay, we'll end it right there. And we're going to have Joyful Apostate's closing statement now. It will start. You get 3 minutes. We'll start whenever you say your first word.
Okay, for something to be placed in even a Bayesian probability, it has to be quantifiable. I think I have proven that a God with infinite attributes in all of these things cannot be quantifiable, because infinite cannot be put into a value. It is something that is not understood in its completeness. Therefore, any kind of probability made from it is going to be an absurdity. Also, I would like to point out that when I brought up the problem of this all-good God that wants to create good, it did have to do with what was happening here in the debate. I'm not the one that brought up the all-good God. It was my opponent. So that is why I brought him into my argument, because if this God we are talking about is all good and only creates good, then why is it that there would be creation of childhood cancer? Why would there be this creation within life of all this bad? So I think my whole point was held up to, even from my opening statement, even though he tried to say that I didn't understand. No, I did. I looked into both probabilities. They both have to be quantifiable. And I would say that God himself cannot be quantifiable. Therefore, he cannot be put within a probability. But the universe and the attributes of life can be quantified because we watch it happen every day. And that is my closing.
Okay, with that, that will be the conclusion of that debate. Thank you both contestants for contesting in the debate. Thank you for your candor. This debate did go by pretty fast, so we do have 16 minutes before our next debate. It starts at 7:16. It's going to be Monkey Boy versus Matt Slick. So we can do like 60 minutes of questions, Q&A. I guess what we'll do, we'll give each person 2 minutes to go back and forth or ask their question, and then we'll go from there. So,
a quick question: are we not adjudicating the round?
Yes, the judges will also give their judgment. I mean, if you guys are ready right now,
I'm ready.
Their judgment.
I think I'm ready.
Oh.
I'm ready.
you guys ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do the polls. I'm like doing the polls right now. So
Yeah, so
give me some time to do the polls.
okay. Continue. Do you want me to go first? Or
I can go first.
I want.
All right. So I think it was not bad for both of you guys, considering it's your first formal debate. So I want to just first and foremost applaud both of you guys for being brave enough to coming up here, and I think you guys both were very cordial, had a good, honest, good faith debate, and you guys were not doing any like dodgy tactics, or you guys were like honestly trying to engage directly with each other's contentful argumentation, which is I think is a breath of fresh air. So I really want to apply that first and foremost. Secondly, I think that the debate was definitely won in a cross-examination. I have Joyful Apostate winning the debate in my view, and I'll give the reasons why. First and foremost, I would say the debate was largely, the debate is as both of you agreed, it was framed around the probability of which side is more likely, or that it was TruthOverTea's, it was his duty or his burden to demonstrate that it is more likely that theism is true, or more likely that if theism is true, or that we would have life in the world, life in the universe. And it seemed as though that point wasn't harped on enough. Like what I seen in the debate is a lot of possibility talk, but not enough probability talk. And so what I saw Joyful Apostate, which I think was a good thing that he did, a good tactic, was asking a question. Okay, well, do you agree in order for us to derive with the probability that there must be a quantifiable variables in the equation to get a probability? And TruthOverTea saying yes, which I thought was the nail in the coffin if you couldn't be able to provide the quantity of the variable of God or his attributes, which you later admitted that is maximal, but I don't have a number for it. And so that at that point where you did agree that you need to quantify it and couldn't quantify it, I think that's where the debate was lost from N1. Secondly, you said it was a non-specific God, but you did give the attributes of this God being all good. And then TruthOverTea saying if a God is all good, which I think was a bad thing that Joyful Apostate, this is something you missed, Joyful Apostate, is that when he asked the question, TruthOverTea asked the question, if God is good, would he create life? And then you said one would assume so. But I think that's a mistake on your end that you missed, especially because TruthOverTea did not make the argument as to why it would be the case that if God was all good, that it would be necessarily the case that he would create life, especially since I feel like you pointed it out later that, well, the life that we have that he did create isn't so good, especially with these cancer things. So is it the case that he would create life even if he was all good? Or if he was all good, what explains him creating versus not creating, right? Because it could be the case that if God was all good and he knows that given free will and creating life where they're left to fend for themselves would be so horrific that he's like, you know what, I foresee this happening, so I'm not going to even bother with creating, right? That hasn't been demonstrated. Why with a God you would create versus not create. So for these reasons, I have Joyful Apostate, and there's a bunch more reasons as well.
Okay.
So yeah.
With that, we move on to the next judge. Who's going next?
I'll go ahead and go next. I want to say thanks to both the contestants. I know it's hard to come up here in front of a bunch of people and debate a topic, especially when it's your first time. And you guys were very cordial and understanding, right? So I appreciate that. But my assessment of the debate is completely different than the team's. I find that TruthOverTea, specified his argument on the the style of Bayesian analysis, which is just to say that is evidence explained better by this specific hypothesis, right? And then he explained why, given the attributes or the properties of God within the hypothesis of theism, why life would be expected, right? I don't think that it's necessarily his fault that he didn't get to quantify the view, right? I don't think that Bayesian analysis is trying to establish a number or a variable or a number, a specific number, as in when it comes to nomology, right? To a hypothesis. It's just to say what's logic, what are the things that are going to be expected, derived from your view, right? And he explained how life would be one of those things. And I think Joyful did not manage to stay linear and actually engage with the argument that TruthOverTea was providing. He didn't really explain how it wasn't less probable. He just sort of said that you need to explain how God is real first, which is not the prompt. The prompt is a life-permitting universe more probable with a God. and that it's not the argument. The argument wasn't about whether or not God was real. And so, for those reasons, I think that Truth won the debate. I found his arguments more substantive and his debate more linear. So that's my vote.
Okay, we got 1 and 1. So, Kay, just time for you to be the tiebreaker.
I'll keep it short. So I guess they started off right. Truth gave the first big problem that I sort of had here that I wish Joyful would have questioned, which is he asserted the principle of indifference when he assigned the prior probabilities as 0.5 either to both. That was like the biggest balls I've ever seen anybody do in a fucking debate. Almost everybody I know in my close circle would have challenged that immediately. But moving on. You said something like theism increases the prior probability of a life-permitting universe in and of itself because it posits a maximally great being with a desire power of such a universe. But and then in his cross, Joyful said, well, something along the lines of, well, the maximally why should we believe that a maximally great being, and sort of got off topic there. But more substantively, he said applying Bayes' theorem to metaphysics is inappropriate. Right, the priors are too vague, the outcomes aren't repeatable. It turns metaphysics into some speculative game, and so on and so forth. I thought that was a valid objection, but then, in truth's cross to that, he asserted that Bayes' reason is used precisely because we are so uncertain about these types of things. Now, more to the point, if you were to say during your argument, Truth, when you were talking about the exponon being theism and the exponendum being life, um, you're you're saying it like, as far as I understand it, what you were saying is that it accommodates, right, the exponendum. The exponon accommodates it. Now, what I'd like to see Joyful do um, is apply some like Draper objection, where you say explanatory success is something that positively expects the evidence and doesn't just accommodate it. Um, Now, with that all said, Truth or Joyful did bring up one thing that I really think was a huge blunder to Truth. Um, Joyful brought up one thing that I thought was a huge blunder to Truth. It seemed like they both agreed that the universe does have the capacity to produce life, and in virtue of that, um, there's no reason to expect a God. And Truth said something like, "Yeah, there's no reason, but it's compatible." I take it that that was missing the point, given Joyful was talking about some causal overdeterminacy, which expects for parsimony and other things like that. So, in lieu of that, I gave it to Joyful, as I don't think Truth responded to A. I think he made A huge blunder, didn't support the principle of indifference, didn't support how his data positively expects the evidence and doesn't just accommodate it. And that's why I gave it to Joyful.
Okay, so given judge's vote, it would seem as if Joyful is the declared winner. So congratulations on that. But for your first debate, I think both of you guys did like very well. I really enjoyed the debate, and I am very grateful that you guys brought both of your intelligence and your study to our platform to debate. We also have like the audience vote that's coming in, but regardless, both of you performed well, and like thank you guys for debating on our platform. We appreciate it, and also, I mean, if you guys want to come back and debate more, different opponents, different topics, let us know.
Well, I was going to say I felt like it was very even. Personally, my personal Truth may have thought he wiped me, which is fine. I felt like it was very even, and I loved debating Truth, and I would be more than open to doing a different topic with Truth down the road for sure, and get some more exposure into doing these type of debates.
Absolutely, we can definitely do that. We have many, many, many more debate events scheduled in the future. But yeah, I think both of you guys did very well, and I think it was kind of even too. Like I think it was even between the both of you. But yeah, thank you guys.
I do think in terms of speaking ability, you guys are pretty even, for sure.
I'll just say that I don't know. I'm sort of judging this based off the performance of the two individuals, not necessarily like exactly how I feel about the arguments. But I just rest my case.
Shut up, you're in the minority. Anyway, Zach, go ahead.
I just have one question for each of you. TruthOverTea, my question is, if God real, why bad stuff happen? And Joyful Apostate, my question is, if God not real, how does something come from nothing? Thank you guys, and I really enjoyed the debate.
Is that?
All right.
Are we supposed to answer that, or?
Yeah,
You can if you want to.
Yeah. So I'll go.
Go. Yeah, go. I was going to tell you to go first, and then I'll.
Sure. So if God is real, why evil? Like specific, it depends on like what evil. But in this instance, since we're talking about life and beings, why is there moral evil? If you're going to create creatures that are capable of doing good, they have to be free, right? And with having the freedom to do good, they also have the choice to do evil. And so that's just the natural. It logically follows that there are going to be beings thus that can do good, and they'll also be able to do evil. And that's why there's moral evil.
Yeah. And Joyful Apostate, you want to answer your question?
Yeah, I don't think there was ever nothing. In all, like, logical atmospheres, nothing is an impossibility. Something can't come from nothing. I think that me and even Truth would agree that nothing ever didn't exist. We just believe in two different infinite things. I believe that the universe, or what makes up the universe as we know it, was always existing, therefore infinite, and just the Big Bang brought us to where we are today. But, yeah. Okay. I don't think there was ever nothing.
I bet. And with that, we have 3 more minutes until like our next debate. Is there anyone else in the audience? 68 people who would like to possibly come up and ask a question. We've got a little bit of time. Feel free to request. We'll bring you up. But thank you guys for showing up and debating, and it went very well. I genuinely appreciate it.
Absolutely. Looking forward to the next time.
For sure. You said, who's next? Did you say?
It would be Monkey Boy versus Matt.
Okay. Nice.
I wonder if Matt's going to run his precept arguments.
Can I give some? I just noticed that
the queue was empty, so I have one more question. I know that those were really hard questions, but this one's going to be like basically the same caliber. Yeah, Truth, would you say that like the nomological like constraints lower the probability that a life-permitting universe is more probable without a god?
You mean like things like the specificity of the cosmological constant, things like that?
Yeah, like just like the laws.
I would say
nature.
yes.
Okay,
that's going to cause more precision to be needed, and thus like better explained by something intentionally placing those properties there as opposed to them being there by chance.
Okay, if you're okay with it, I can send you a paper, and it's basically saying that like given, like if you think that nomological laws or the laws of nature lower the chance of life without God, it begs the question of like who decides the laws of nature, and if the person that decides the laws of nature is God, then life-permitting universes will be at most equal to both sides, right? Does that make sense?
So I have a response to that if I have time.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't know if I've read that paper, but I've heard this argument. It's basically stating there's a very good response to this. So imagine playing a game of poker. I actually have this written out because I was prepared for this. We're playing a game of poker.
Your prep?
All right, so real quick, we're playing game poker. You get a hand, or I get a hand, and it's a royal flush, right? You're like, oh my gosh, you're so lucky, it's crazy. And then next 10 hands in a row, I get royal flushes every single time, right? Now, would you accept me responding to you when you ask me how did that happen? Every hand is equally improbable either way. So royal flush or another hand, so it's just chance. Like that's the same concept.
So number one, you walked right into my lack of statistic knowledge. So, I mean, I agree that all hands of poker are similar, but I don't know enough about that to know whether it's analogous or disanalogous. I think that somebody who decided the probability of hands of cards, if they made the probability of getting a royal flush exceptionally low, then that hypothesis seems to be equally explained by both.
So in the game, though, right, a motive of dishonest gain would raise the probability of the multiple flushes in the same way that an intelligent being motivated by good raises the probability of life. That was the point I was making.
Okay, I mean, I have this recorded, so I will listen back to your response and try and do math.
Feel free to DM me if you ever want to talk about this.
For sure, yeah.
And one day I'll stop being lazy and actually go live again. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All else that I have to.
Dang.
Can I give like a few pointers, Coco, for the audience and
Yeah.
debaters?
Also, really quick, if anyone took a screenshot of the poll results, please feel free to send that to me or Discord it to me. Me and AR couldn't quite get it, but if anyone took a screenshot, hopefully someone did. Please get that to us if you can.
Also, just comment it because I did not look at it. But
Where did the poll go up?
Went up a while ago.
God damn it, Coco. Actually, no, sorry, not you. God damn it, AR. Really good job. Oh, damn it. Joyful already left. Well, really good job to both of you guys, actually. I got to tell you, I was actually more impressed with your argument, truth over tea, than most theists or Christians. Are you Christian?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was a really good job. Like, you stayed pretty linear, and you stuck to the topic, and you didn't derail. So, yeah, good job to both of you guys.
Thanks.
Did a lot of people miss the poll?
yeah.
Should we run it back?
I feel like it wasn't announced. I don't think it was announced.
You should have said the poll was. I should have said that. Yeah, you're right.
Can we just ask for another poll?
Yeah, I'll just do it again. It's fine. We'll do it again. It's okay.
Thank y'all all so much. Appreciate it. Love you all.
I'll just do that. Okay, the poll's gonna be up again, so you guys revote, please. Everybody revote.
Yeah. So, just a quick few pointers
It's up now.
for everybody listening.
It's up now.
Yeah, everybody vote. But I feel like in the cross-section, I feel like that's where most debates are going to be won, right? And then there's going to be like at least 3 very good questions one can ask. One is going to be, what do you mean by that? Right, just to clarify. And then so you know exactly how to attack their position. Because a lot of times people talk past each other. So what do you mean by that is one good question. Another one is, how do you know that's true, right? Because I did hear a lot of just claims and claims and claims, and I wish in the debate that you guys just had, I mean, there was some, but I wish it was more of, how do you know that's true? And then the third question, which is like a genre of question, is going to be, if you, a good cross-ex is going to be like analogous to something like,
The team, how do you
like
answer the questions without being asked them?
what do you mean?
I feel like you took it. I feel like we reduced, points from Truth's view because he didn't answer the questions, but they weren't asked. So I don't know why you did that. But.
I literally said the smoking gun was both of them agreeing that it needs to be quantified for it to be more probable, and then he couldn't quantify it. I already explained that that's the smoking gun. So do you have anything else?
Yeah. So I just think that the quantified is a loose word, right? Quantified could just mean to assign properties to a thing, which is what Truth took it to mean. But that's just all I'm saying. Like I don't think I'm judging the debate and how they performed, and not necessarily how I view their ideas and if they answered enough, right? So
I don't know why you think I'm not doing the same. I also don't know why you interrupt.
Because you brought up objections that
talking.
You brought up objections that the other person didn't make. So that's what I'm saying.
No, that's fine. Well, I'm bringing up objections from the standpoint of me judging what's being said, and so if it's an empty sandwich, I'm biting into something empty. It's not going to fulfill me.
Well, I'm judging the debate.
Yeah, I'm judging the arguments. The arguments are empty.
But against each other. I'm arguing against. I'm judging the debate against each other and what they said to each other, right? So
I'm saying, look, Isa, you have a different judge style. Okay, cool.
We can talk about it.
Jesus Christ, you have a different adjudication style. Whoa, that happens in debates, bro. I did collegiate debate. You have to accommodate to all judging styles. A good debater would ask, hey, what's your judging style? What do you look for? And then for me, if I was asked, which is why I even said it before anyone asked, because not a lot of people know that I have.
Yeah.
Affirmative cannot defend it.
Can I ask a question?
Does anyone have any questions though?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, good. Go ahead.
Look, I was in the middle of talking. You interrupted me, bro. What the fuck is wrong with you?
You talking to me?
But go ahead, Good.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
I know this question maybe is not fair because Joyful is not here, but it's for Truth. Truth, you mentioned the probability of God existing is more than 50%. But did you actually have some kind of a did you calculate it? Did you? I'm not saying that you should be coming up with the calculation of probability, but do you have a scientific or mathematician that actually shows the probability of God existence is more than 50%?
Yeah, so what I did was similar to what Swinburne does in a couple of his books. I started by using just an agnostic point of view with both theism and atheism and this hypothesis comparison at of 0.5. So I wasn't giving favor to one or the other. I was starting from an agnostic position, evaluating the two. God existing, God not existing, and then seeing what explanations we can offer to raise the prior, what data we can offer to raise the prior, and provided two explanations to raise the prior for theism.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
All right. And yeah, we're just waiting for Monkey Boy and
I'm happy to take questions for as long as it takes for folks to come up.
TruthOverTea, what denomination are you in?
I mean, I'm a Protestant. I do ascribe to a lot of Eastern Orthodox views, though, as far as like my view on atonement and stuff like that. But I'm a Protestant. Probably you would call me a Southern Baptist.
Closer to a what?
Southern Baptist. Like,
you know what the Southern Baptist Convention was formed for?
I mean, I disagree with most of what they say. That's not like what represents what actual Southern Baptist Christianity is. But
that's what the Southern Baptist Convention was formed for. But that's okay if it's derailed from that. But
oh yeah, you should read like what the original Southern Baptists thought. Like the main thing when I say that, what I mean is I don't agree that you have to, like with the Catholics, perform all seven sacraments to be saved. I think that's false. I think the only two that are really mentioned in Scripture are baptism and communion. And like basically I'm more of a low church guy. I do appreciate high church. I think high church is beautiful. But I don't think it's necessary for salvation. That's really where it comes in. But I'm not like a diehard Southern Baptist. For people who would understand what that means from a low church point of view, that's why I say that.
When I was Baptist, they didn't want you like dancing or like stuff like that. Like, do you hold that?
No, that's over the top.
You believe in the Trinity?
I do.
All right, that's good for me. What if we met up for a thumb wrestling competition, Coco? Who would win?
me.
Yeah, I know. I've seen your thumbs.
I'm the best thumb wrestler, bro. I'm gonna win.
But yeah, we're just waiting.
I'm the thumb wrestling champ, bro. I want to thumb wrestle you now, Coco.
Hold on. Oh, oops.
Could I ask a question?
Hot team head. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Coco, this will be on YouTube.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll be editing it tonight, and I will strap myself to my gaming chair and not let myself go until I finish editing it.
Oh, dude, you don't have to do that. But I do want. Are you cool with me clipping this part and putting it on my channel?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. My second question, KJ, you had mentioned that I just had like the craziest move by starting out with assigning the equal probability from the beginning with priors between atheism and theism. Do you think that, like, I'm just curious at why do you think that's so crazy when like Swinburne and Rasmussen and other very well-known theistic philosophers do this? I don't know if he's still there.
Yeah. Well, to be clear, I don't care if contemporary for every main philosopher, Swinburne, Sijuati, Rasmussen, Kuhns, any of them, Oppie, anybody else responds to them with the same objections. They appeal to your intuitions by saying things as if, presumably the proposition Bigfoot is out in the rainforest right now isn't equally true and false probabilistically, especially when you start indexing priorly held doxastic states, which is exactly what the atheist, especially when they appeal to particular genres of atheism. You mentioned during the debate, he was bringing up the anthropic principle, which is a type of atheist view. So clearly, if they have those prior commitments, to say that the principle of indifference should not only be asserted but accepted is wild to the atheist.
Well, he didn't actually bring up the anthropic principle. I started to go in that direction and said I didn't want to go in that direction during my questioning, and so then I went to another direction. But I guess I see what you're saying. I'm still not quite sure where the issue was with what I did. I'd like to adjust my style of argumentation if it's actually wrong. But I hear more of like, I don't like how you did that, as opposed to this is actually, there's a logical error here. Because ultimately, if you're starting from like an equal playing ground, looking at two different hypotheses, like you could assign both of them 0.1, 0.001. The point is just starting with them both in even footing. I guess I just don't see why that's problematic.
Is it my turn?
Yeah. Welcome to the panel. Nice to meet you, Whit.
Nice to meet me. Okay.
Wait, you look a lot like this other person's profile. It's Wit 2.0. They may be impersonating you, just letting you know.
Yeah.
Oh, well, gosh, we got to deal with that. Hi, TruthOverTea. I think you both did very well. I was just curious, not related to the debate at all. What is it that attracts you to Eastern Orthodoxy?
I knew you were going to ask me about that.
He's an
You did? Okay. Well, that's
Yeah. Because Orthodoxy is, they have, so I've been meeting with an Orthodox priest in my local area just to kind of get a better understanding. I got into this philosopher named Nathan Jacobs, who's an Eastern Orthodox philosopher and theologian. And it's I've always had a problem with penal substitution. So that's always been problematic to me. And so I start to read some of the Eastern Fathers. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, this is not what they thought. Nobody thought this really until Anselm. And then you start to go farther back. You can see some of that starting with Augustine. But the Eastern Fathers just seem to have better explanations for a lot of philosophical and theological issues. Of course, my brother says penal sub is awesome. I think that there are aspects of penal substitution that can be true.
I think like a lot of it is like we can have some agreements, just like we could have some agreements like on like original sin and all this stuff. It's just how you kind of like go about it, right? So I was just curious, if you ever want any more information, I'm more than willing to give it to you. But I thought you did really well, honestly, and this is one of the more tolerable debates that I've ever watched on this, so I appreciate it.
Okay, well, hey, that's a compliment. Okay,
that's a huge coming from Whit.
Yeah,
You definitely want to DM Whit. She's very knowledgeable, especially about the theistic topics.
Oh, thanks to team. That's very nice of you.
Like we don't, we cannot express how much. If Whit gives you a compliment, like that's like 1 in a million. Bro. Yeah, shit. You should go home and like.
Hey, I don't know what they're on about.
Honestly,
I'm very nice. I'm very nice, and I.
We know Whit's character. That's
you should hear what she calls me all the time.
All right. But they need.
Wait. When you say tolerable, would you say like one of the better debates, like one of?
Well, I just think like it didn't turn into. I mean, I think both tried to attempt to track the conversation very well. At least from what I heard. So, like, it stayed more linear than anything that I've ever heard, honestly, on this platform. So,
let's go.
Couldn't agree more.
And I want to ask, like, do you run lives, like, of your own?
What?
Me?
Yeah.
No, TruthOverTea.
Oh, I used to. I need to start again. I've just been loafing. I have 3 kids, married.
Yeah, I mean, life is life.
Work. But I would like to. I plan on starting in the next month or so running lives again.
Yeah, and if you do, I'd love to talk to you. I feel like you have like a good demeanor when it comes to like dialogue.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to you too, but like that's really great that you're. Do you know which kind of, like if it's like Russian or Greek or anything that you're talking
Greek.
to? Greek. Okay, cool. Not that it matters. They all believe the same thing. I was just curious. I'm Antiochian, so I was just curious.
That's pretty cool. Okay.
I'm curious.
Go ahead.
Sorry, wait, hold on. Wait.
What?
No degrees insulting you from the comment section. He's saying,
my spot. I'd love to see him get annihilated by Whit. Go ahead and come on up.
No
Why is
Degree's
he?
saying
Why is he doesn't even
No,
know
let
me?
him, let him on up. Let him on up. Give him my spot. I'd
he's
love to
saying
see him get
he's
embarrassed
saying
by a
he
fellow
wouldn't know a
Christian.
good debate if it jumped on her lap and called her mama.
Wow.
Hold on, I want to ask TruthOverTea a question though.
What's up?
I'm curious.
No
Like,
Degree.
are you open minded to having your mind change about theism, or like,
I've done so many times.
so you're willing to be like if a sound argument came to you about atheism, you would convert
Hey,
or
man,
deconvert?
absolutely.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Honest review.
I have like a couple. I'm not sure if have you like picked up any books about Eastern Orthodoxy or
Just
any?
DM Wit already.
No, I've only read things online and then watched lots of lectures.
I would really
and
highly what really
speeches.
got me into it was a catechesis called The Living God. I would look it up. It's 2 volumes. It's very good. That's what really started me on my Orthodox journey. So there's
Okay.
you know.
My wife
I'm not trying
also
to
is
hit on
super.
him. ISO. Jesus Christ, I'm just
No,
happy that you're
you and I have talked before when
Yeah.
I was first started getting into like Orthodox stuff. My wife was actually the reason why I started getting into
God bless
Orthodox
her.
originally because she loves
That's
she
great.
loves liturgy. She thinks that that's
That's
beautiful.
the
And
reason why I'm
I-
Orthodox is literally alone.
She would-
That's the only
she would agree
reason
with
at this
you.
point.
So
Right.
that's I
No,
think
God bless her. That's awesome.
I wanted to read some of I need to read Athanasius. If we have another boy, we're going to name him Athanasius. So I
Oh,
need to read him.
beautiful.
And I want to read John of Damascus, and I'll have to read that book too that you had
That
mentioned.
name?
Yeah, I think you should look it up. It's just called The Living God. But you can look at
Athanasius.
They have it. It's on Amazon, but it's very good. Like it was recommended to me when I first started looking into Orthodoxy, and it's just beautiful. Like
What's it called again? Make sure I spelled it right.
The Living God. It's a catechesis. It's 2 volumes.
Okay.
I think you'd really enjoy it.
Coco, are you gonna post all 6 hours, or are you just gonna post like specific debates?
I'm gonna chop it up and post specific debates, and then like the last thing I'll do is probably post the whole thing as like one video if I can. But YouTube is
You should do both, don't you?
yeah. Typically I do both. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't even watch it. I usually watch them, but I can't hear my own voice. I cringe.
Yeah. I don't think I can even hear your voice. It is cringe.
Seriously, we have one person. We have one
Are you
person.
bringing up Are you bringing up what's his face? No debate or whatever.
Cage,
No, he's
Cage,
not-
you
he's
kind
not.
of looks like French
He said
Montana
he's
with a
busy.
butterfly on
God
his
bless
face.
you.
No de-
Truth over
no
tea. I
degree.
just really wanted to ask you why you were interested in Eastern Orthodoxy. That's all I wanted to say.
All good.
Wait,
All
wait,
good.
Yo,
wait.
Forrest, do you mind dropping for Bobby or Wit if you're done? Because Bobby don't want to come away.
And
Wait,
actually, No Degree just said that the only reason he insulted Wit is because he mistaked her for an atheist and thought that she was.
Oh, that just speaks to No Degree's lack of character. He must not have nailed any atheist men today. Just go ahead and nail some atheist men, and maybe you'll it's like a Snickers. Like
Team, did you have a question or what?
To clarify,
No, I was gonna say like, no degree only the same thing that Coco just said. Like he only insulted you because he thought you were atheist, which is weird.
Oh, yeah. Well, I do hang around you guys a lot, which probably speaks to my character. So I should probably stop doing that.
Yes, for the record, Wit is a full-blown
No, you're-
atheist. She does not like God.
Just kidding, I'm
I mean,
just kidding.
honestly, that's probably the most Christ-like thing you can do, right? Wit?
Hang around atheists.
I wouldn't even compare myself. Not anymore.
No, in terms of like accepting all, being amongst the prostitutes and stuff. That's what Jesus is.
Wait,
Yes.
I do. Hey, look, I sell.
Hey,
no part
well,
of my
we
body.
all know that Manny is a prostitute.
Yeah.
Wait, have you ever had lunch with a
Price
prostitute?
is Manny, like $40, like a hot little 40. What are we talking here?
I sell no part of my body ever. So
What'd you say, Coco?
Wait,
Have you
not
ever had
no
lunch
part,
with a
the whole thing,
prostitute?
right?
No, look, I'm the worst of sinners, right? That's what we confess in liturgy. So I am in no place to judge anyone at this point.
Are Christian or are the Orthodox Eastern? I mean, are the Eastern Orthodox folks? Are they the worst sinners?
Sinners?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're the worst of sinners. We confess it in every liturgy. So
Fingers.
I mean, we're the best singers, obviously.
Wait, I think aren't
The
Catholic?
Catholics might take it.
Yeah,
I
the
don't know.
Catholic school board. No, actually, wait, Baptist, black people. Duh.
No, it has to be the Catholics. Have you
The
been to a
Black
Catholic
Baptist
But
Church.
team, you're chewing like crazy, bro. You're here talking about
He's
cringe.
lying. I just want everyone to know that Tristan's a big fat liar.
Who?
And also, I beat him in a debate, and he's really sad about it.
Team, I just want you to know when you said my voice was cringe, I stuck my tongue out and flipped you off. So I win.
Wait, I have a question of truth. How many types of churches have you been to?
I don't know. I haven't counted. I've been to a lot. I've been to.
Would you say
quite a
less than
few.
10? Not specific churches.
Total churches in my
But-
life,
no,
or
no, no,
different
no, no.
types of denominations?
Types of denoms.
So, like within the Protestant tradition, there's quite a bit of traditions. I've been to an Apostolic Church, been to an Episcopalian Church, been to a Lutheran Church, been to.
There's a specific reason why I'm asking you.
Okay, why are you asking?
The
me?
reason why I'm asking you is for you to answer this question. Which denomination tends to have the better choir?
A choir?
I mean, if I were to, I've actually never been to a live Catholic Mass, but like if you look up online, like the most beautiful hymns are going to be, or songs are going to be your Latin.
I was about to say that I go.
They
I go to
learn-
church.
Yeah.
You watch
big
like
I go to church
Dale's.
with my I go to church with my family. Like I try to all the time, and yeah, those music's definitely
But
different.
can I host you at my church, bro? I'd love if you come to my church, bro. You gonna have your mind changed, bro.
Me?
I mean,
Yeah,
I think,
bro.
What's your church?
The Third Baptist Church of San Francisco.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think
historic
I'm going
black
to fly
church.
across the country. But wait, so you're a Christian?
I'm a cultural Christian. I'm a deacon and director of youth ministry.
So
Truth, I know
you're
it
not.
sounds so
You don't
weird.
believe in the resurrection, but your church allows you to be a deacon.
Oh yeah, I mean, my church, the title of deacon, right? My church is a very liberal church, and we're an interfaith church. And so we welcome all people.
Interfaith?
Yeah.
Do you like have other religious ceremonies at that church?
Not different religious ceremonies, but we respect different religions. So we have a Hindu at our church, Buddhist at our church. So we welcome all people to condone. I mean, to what do you call it? Congregate.
Okay. What is the goal to bring them to Christ?
I think the goal of my church is just progress and social progress.
That
Very
tracks. Have you attended a liturgy, Truth? I'm curious.
I haven't attended a live liturgy. I've been to the Orthodox Church to meet with the priest, but I haven't done that yet. I plan on doing that this summer. And what's crazy is since they don't have children, right? All my 3 little kids will be there. And he said, "Hey, it's normal. Kids just run around, and we let them be kids." I'm like, okay, because you kind of have this stereotype. You think that it's old-fashioned, so they're gonna be upset if your kids can't sit down and behave. I have a 2, 4, and 6-year-old. So, but he said, no, this is totally normal. And how do we know that the kids aren't chanting in their own way? And so it's. I'm curious to go.
No, I mean, I think you'll really love it. It's
Truth, if you want to come
honestly,
to
like
mine.
I did a lot of research. I read a lot of things, the theology, and I do think that like that's incredibly important. The history of it, like I think everyone should look into those things. But when I attended a liturgy, like it is the only thing that separates it from everything else. Like that's the reason why I'm Orthodox. Without the liturgy, I wouldn't be. So I just want you to experience that for yourself. I think you'd really love it.
I'm very curious to see my wife's reaction. She'll probably feel the same way.
She will.
So I have a general question. I have a quick question.
Oh, really quick before you ask it, Double Donkey says liturgy is boring as buns.
Dang, wait, you don't take that?
I don't care.
Double Donkey.
Ooh, right.
Wait, so
White rice, yes, sir.
this is a general question for the judges, right? I want to understand. Are we saying that Joyful most likely won because he presented an equal probability view that life can permit?
No.
Under
Hey, Coco.
then I guess
Next debate.
then I guess I'm kind of confused then. If it's because it's which has a higher probability.
Yeah, so it was stated that something had a higher probability. I didn't see a demonstration of it having a higher probability. Secondly, like I said, the smoking gun was both sides agreed that quantifiability is a necessary tenet for probability, and I really didn't hear anything being quantified.
But he was doing Bayesian analysis. That doesn't have anything to do with the hypothesis. Doesn't have to be reduced to numbers.
Coco, I just want to know when the next debate is, please.
Oh, so we've been having some scheduling issues with Matt Slick and Monkey Boy. They were supposed to debate on the last event, then there was some scheduling things. Then they're supposed to debate on this event, and there might be some scheduling things. So honestly, we might just run Q&A and like have a good time until our third debate, which is going to be Godless Engineer versus Joel Setcase from the Think Institute.
Oh man, I really wanted to hear if like they come back later. Can we please just extend this? Because I really wanted to see that debate, like really bad.
Yeah, well, we could do the debate later in the night.
Okay.